it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We can still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Billy Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
hey, really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of Backyard Banter. Johnny, James, Tanner. We already know what it is. We don't have to say too much of a preamble for this episode. We have a bracket. It's out. We're going to give you every single prediction, 100% correct, or your money back. You know how it works here. I mean, it's the way it works. Also, I told Tanner this, James, you weren't on yet. We have another shirt.
So fire.
James and Tanner look identical. I look not identical. But who knows? If we ever get enough views, maybe we'll drop these for.
I gotta put the hat on. I gotta put a hat on.
Oh, you got a hat? Come on.
Put the hat on.
We're getting in the mood. But like I said before, there it is.
That's the T look right there. It's there.
Exactly.
There we go.
For any of my family members watching, because I'm a bracket pool with my family, I'm gonna give you the inside tools on how to win. Now, with that being said, I'm pretty sure I got second to last in our family bracket last year because this is completely random when you do this. But let's do it. We're gonna predict every single game, and for some of them, like the first game here, can you guys see this good?
Yeah.
For the first game, like Auburn versus maybe St. Francis, who's 16 and 17 on the year, we're not going to waste too much time on. But for a Louisville Creighton or Michigan, UC San Diego, we will. But anyway, we're going to start in the South, then we'll go East and go on from there. So, boys, I think
Quick thing here. Are we going to post this bracket and make a group and have people join like we did last year?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
we can. So any viewers, we'll put the link and you guys can join this. See if you are smarter than us.
Backyard Banter did win last year. I will say, Backyard Banter did win last year. So we'll make it public too. We'll post it. And good point, Tanner. Good job.
And if you win, you take Johnny's spot on the podcast. So
I was going to say you can have the shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
Cleaned, maybe not dried, but definitely washed.
Yeah. Air dry.
Yeah, air dried here. It's been 60-mile-an-hour windows in Utah, so definitely dried. But here we go. We'll start in the South. When it came out, the South was actually rated as the hardest region, which I don't necessarily agree with, but we'll get to it. So everyone is good on Auburn here?
Yes, sir.
Obviously. All right. This is the first one that really sticks out to me, Louisville Creighton. And Tanner ranked all these matchups. This is the first game of the tournament, the non-first four. And Louisville got shafted a little bit. I mean, they should have been a 6, and they fall down to an 8. But their one kind of consolation prize is they get to play in Lexington, which is going to be a home game for them. So, I mean, James, do you like Louisville here? You like Creighton? Who do you got?
Yeah, I like Louisville here. There's a few seeds in this, and frankly, most of the seeds that I disagree with are on this side. And we're going to talk about the next game too. Like I said it as soon as we had a bracket. We all texted, and I said there's going to be so many good college basketball games. My concern is I think some teams weren't seeded correctly, and that could hurt them. So as a fan of college basketball, I'm not upset because I think this is a great game. I mean, talk about a good game to start the tournament off. But I like Louisville. I mean, I think they're playing good ball. I don't understand how you can play well in your tournament. Frankly, play well all season long, and then you sit on that line. It's a little interesting to me, but I like Louisville for sure in this game, especially like you said, it is a home game. So
yeah. Tanner, what about you?
I'm gonna take Creighton here. I watched both of these teams a pretty good amount this past week, so I have a pretty good understanding, I think, of how the matchups are going to align here. I don't think Louisville has anybody that can guard Kalkbrenner. I'm the biggest Ryan Kalkbrenner hitter, but I think that he matches up really well against Louisville. I think they're going to have problems with him inside. I think Stephen Ashworth is an experienced guard, so is Chucky Hepburn. So I think that's going to be a good matchup between those two. Terrence Edwards Jr., if Louisville's going to win this game, it's going to be through him. He's going to have to perform well, but I like Creighton. I'm going to fade the ACC, and I think Kalkbrenner is going to be too much for Louisville.
Yeah, Tanner, I agree with all your reasonings, but I'm going to lean Louisville. I think it's going to be a super competitive game. Lean Louisville just because it's in Lexington, and Chucky Hepburn versus Ashworth is the matchup to watch here. I mean, Hepburn was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Probably not deserved over Cooper Flagg. But, I mean, regardless, he's still a really good defender. But I will say I do think Creighton matches up better with Auburn than Louisville does. But I think Louisville can sneak past Creighton here. 5-12 upset is normally very popular. James, do we have one here?
I mean, that it hurts to get the first spot, but I think we do. I do think we get an upset here. I'm upset for Michigan and for the Big Ten that they sit at the 5. Um, I understand they played some bad ball in the last few weeks of the regular season, but I feel like, Tanner said it a few weeks ago, maybe even last episode, like the committee doesn't watch after Friday night. And frankly, I'm not sure they watched Thursday. I mean, like Michigan won the Big Ten. Like I understand the Big Ten maybe down in some retrospect, but a little upset. And it's also crazy to say that because I've been ripping on Michigan the entire season. But I think when you look at the other Big Ten teams that got ranked in front of them, a few seed lines above them, I don't envy Michigan in this spot. I think UC San Diego is a really good team. I don't think they play the style that Michigan wants to play against. So I think we're going to have our this side has upsets for me. I mean, it frankly does. And so I like the 12 in this 12-5 matchup. And if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm a little irate and upset that I sit at the 5 line, but then again, maybe don't tweak at the last few weeks of the regular season and maybe you don't sit there. But yeah, UC San Diego, let's go.
Yeah, I think that the key for Michigan to avoid an upset is going to be getting good performance out of Trey Donaldson. He really upped his game in the Big Ten tournament. I think in past years the Big Ten tournament champion has been out of the tournament quickly, and I don't see anything different here. I could talk about the location of this game. I want to save that for a different Big Ten team later.
Yep.
But UC San Diego causes havoc on the defensive end of the floor. They turn you over, and that's what Michigan really struggles with when they lose. So I think that's a problem for Michigan, and I like UC San Diego.
I mean, Tanner said it perfectly. UC San Diego forces the most turnovers. Michigan has a really bad turnover problem. And I said it from the beginning. I don't like Michigan's guards. I don't care if Trey Donaldson had a great tournament, which he did. But there's a reason why I transferred to Auburn is because he would have been the 5th best guard at Auburn this year. So I'm going to lean UC San Diego as well. But I also, when I try to make my upset picks, I told Tanner this. If they backfire, I like to say, okay, what could be the next matchup? Like, I don't think Michigan beats Texas A&M, for example.
Right.
So that kind of backs him up. And James, I know for a fact that the committee didn't care that Michigan won the Big Ten tournament because Big Ten tournament happened, then went straight to the bracket reveal. There's no way it's like, oh, Michigan won. Let's move them up a seed line like they should have when they won their conference. But look, happened with Iowa, happened with Purdue. Like Big Ten champions these past few years when they win the tournament. I don't know if it's something going on, but yeah. And they play on the Thursday after playing on Sunday. Like that's pretty brutal. And we're going to me and Tanner had a whole discussion about this last night about Wisconsin. We'll get to them eventually. But that is brutal to have that. But anyway, yeah, one big upset here. It's a popular one, but one that I agree with too. So do we have 2 upsets here? Can Yale beat another SEC school this year?
I got it. I mean, you guys knew I was going to go. Frankly, it didn't matter who Yale was matched up against. I was going with Yale. I've been saying it now for a little while. Not as dominant of an Ivy League conference championship as I had maybe expected. Played a few tight games to win the Ivy League, but I mean, yeah, you gotta represent John Paulikitis over there, Naperville boy, and frankly, I don't care who they were matched up against. I was picking the Yale Bulldogs, so that is what they are. They're the Bulldogs, right? Yeah. So go Bulldogs. We got Yale here, but if the backyard banner bracket is Texas A&M, I'm not terribly displeased about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to take Yale, but I'm going to give them their props. They went and played Purdue tough in Mackey this year, so I've seen them play. I watched them play on Sunday. John Paulikitis is a stud. Mbang is a stud. They're a very good team. Honestly, I think if they got matched up with any of the other 4 seeds, I would pick them. Purdue, Arizona, Maryland, any of them. But Texas A&M is the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country, and that is going to give Yale some fits, so I'm going to pick Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm on A&M too, and I'm going to be fading a lot of these SEC teams as we get later on.
Yeah.
But it's a bad matchup for Yale. I mean, A&M goes and gets their misses. They got 9 guys that play. Wade Taylor, he's going to score 20. He might take 18 shots, but he'll get to 20. But, yeah, I'll lean A&M too. So we have San Diego State, UNC, and for those people that don't understand, and maybe they saw on social media, it's like, why is UNC in? There's this thing called, KenPom. There's the net rankings, and there's these things called Quad 1 games. quadrant one games is, Tanner, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a home team, then you have to be ranked 25th or more in the net, and it's a quad one game. If you're on the road, I think it's 70th in the net, and it's a quad one game. And if you're a neutral floor, it's 50th in the net. It's a quad one game.
Yeah.
UNC won one of them,
Yeah.
and they're in the tournament. So I don't want to talk about it too much. We're going to have a lot to get into in this, but yeah. But anyway, Ole Miss, San Diego State. James, do you see a play-in team winning here?
I definitely could. I think that play-in game is going to be actually a really good game. I'm actually really excited for the obviously 2-11 seed games. Obviously, we're previewing the Texas Xavier game coming up. I'm sure we'll get to that one, but this game, I don't really know which way it's going to go. Does UNC come in with firepower, saying yeah, we're an ACC team, we're a NCAA staple, frankly, in the last couple decades, like. I don't really know how it's going to respond. San Diego State, a team that's we're used to in March at this point, right? And Tanner loves. I mean, Tanner loves some San Diego State ball. And Johnny, you love Ole Miss, so it's like one of those things where I told myself when I saw that 14 SEC teams were going to make it, which I wasn't necessarily surprised by it, but when I saw 14 SEC teams, I'm like, I don't think I see a ton of them making a crazy move to the second weekend. I don't know if that's matchups or not. So frankly, I see San Diego State beating North Carolina, and if that happens, I'm gonna pick San Diego State to beat Ole Miss. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Carolina, and I think Carolina matches up well with Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss would struggle in a Carolina matchup. I think Ole Miss would blow out San Diego State. I love the Mountain West, but I'm fading the Mountain West in this tournament. I think Carolina beats Ole Miss, so I'm going to pick that. But I will say, I think if Ole Miss gets past this game, I really like their path to
Yeah,
maybe even the Elite Eight, honestly.
So I've been high on Ole Miss, but less lately. Ole Miss doesn't beat themselves. Like they never turn the ball over. And Tanner, I disagree with you in the matchup for UNC because Ole Miss has a really good front court. Like Malik Dia would eat UNC's front court alive. And obviously UNC has the 8 million guards that they bring off. But I would pick Ole Miss in this matchup. But like a playing team always wins. Unfortunately, it was against Florida last year, actually. But I think the playing game started in 2011. In every tournament but one, they've won a game. So that's what we're going to pick here because each of you guys picked the playing team to win. But I agree with you guys. I think Ole Miss could make a second weekend, especially because Gilbert is hurt for Iowa State. I think that could really hurt them going forward. But Iowa State, Lipscomb, I don't think we have to talk too much about that one unless any of you guys have an upset.
Nope.
Iowa State, even without Gilbert, I mean, what do they do, James? What does Iowa State do?
they just sit down and guard,
They
man.
guard. They freaking guard. And even without Gilbert, who's an all-conference player for a reason. But anyway, Marquette, New Mexico, one of the best games of the tournament. And, James, are you with Tanner on fading the Mountain West?
No, the Lobos here are going to dominate Marquette. I hate Marquette this year. I don't know what it is. I think they're incredibly coached. I think they play in a really good conference. I think it's in a cool city.
They're missing a player. Doesn't it just feel like they're missing just
It does.
one
It
guy?
doesn't feel like the Marquette team that can make a run. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of teams in this that, of course, they're 7 seed, James. Like, yeah, maybe they're not national championship caliber teams, but when I look at New Mexico, I'm not going to fade the Mountain West when he talks about the Lobos here. I love them. I think it's the two best guards. I think Jay Wright said it last night in the selection show. It's going to be a great game with great guards, probably the two best guards in the country, up there at least. Jay Wright said it, and you don't have to disagree with James Keck. You can disagree with Jay Wright, but
Jay Wright is money, by the way. When he's on
he's a stud. But I like the Lobos here. I like the Mountain West to beat the Big East. Interesting to see what Tanner likes about this. But yeah, I'm going New Mexico.
Yeah, so I actually ranked all 32 games in terms of matchups I want to watch. This is my number one matchup because Donovan Dent versus Cam Jones is going to be an electric factory. They're going to go at it. But when you take a look at Marquette, and I watched a lot of Marquette this year, what they struggle with is a dominant low post scorer, someone who is going to post you up on the block and is bigger than you and is going to score. New Mexico doesn't have that. We'll get into it later. I don't think Michigan State has that. So that's why I love this draw for Marquette. You take a look at what they did in the non-con. They beat some pretty good teams, but those are teams that don't have high-level bigs that are just, 6'10", 6'11", gonna dominate you down low. And they struggled in the Big East because every Big East team has a pretty good center that is a low post scorer. So I like Marquette a lot in this draw in this region, and I'm going to take Marquette to beat New Mexico.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to go too in depth because we got a lot to get to, but I'm also with Marquette. And then I think we can all agree Michigan State will knock off Bryant. So should we just keep going all the way to the Final Four with the East or with the South?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
cool
fine.
with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Like I said, I'm going to go. I think we're all going to go Auburn here. I think Auburn's floor is so incredibly high. Like I would be shocked if Auburn lost before the Elite Eight. Honestly, they just, especially after losing 3-4 coming in, people are kind of doubting them. Like I think Auburn will fairly walk to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with Auburn. One quick thing I want to say about them is they've lost 3 out of 4 after they clinched the SEC regular season championship.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
And Tennessee beat them, and Tennessee made like 27 free throws. So it's like it's okay. So I think you see San Diego's luck runs out against A&M. What about you guys?
I would agree.
Yeah, unfortunately, because
I can see them winning this game, though. I can say I can see them.
I'm just not big on A&M, so yeah.
I don't love A&M, but I mean A&M just rebounds so well. It's hard to see anyone lose to them. If this happens, I like Iowa State a lot over both of these teams.
Yeah, I would agree there. I'll give me Iowa State as well. Yeah.
And then I know me and Tanner are together on this. I am fading Michigan State. I'm actually kind of angry about their path. I wish they got a different 7 seed. And in my actual bracket, I don't know if I would actually pick Marquette. But any team that shoots as poorly as Michigan State, and me and Tanner also talked about this before you got on, James, any team that was unranked that ended up being a top 2 seed has not made it past the Sweet 16 ever. Yeah. So for those 2 reasons, I am fading Michigan State. I am taking Marquette in this game. I think Cam Jones can win you a game, and this might be the game that they win. The one thing that concerns me, Tanner, you're right, Michigan State does not have like a guy that throws the ball to on the post to go get a bucket, but they rebound the ball so well, especially offensively. And I think they could have a significant advantage against Marquette there. But, give me Cam Jones to steal one here.
I agree with you. I think Marquette over Michigan State. I mean, this is the perfect 2-seed matchup for Marquette. I mean, like they match up so well with them. Everybody says, yeah, Michigan State defends. They sit down and guard. Well, so does Marquette. You got Chase Ross. You got Stevie Mitchell, who guard Cam Jones. Cam Jones can win you a game. Marquette matches up perfectly with Michigan State, and I like Marquette to beat Michigan State. I agree with you.
Cool. I mean, fade the Spartans. I'm so in. I didn't even have to say it. And I'm so in on that take. So way to go, boys. Great job.
James, we'll let you go first here. Iowa State, Marquette. Go to the lead.
I mean, interesting, right? I mean, if Marquette can beat those 2 teams, for me, why can't they beat Iowa State? I mean, that's what goes into my mind. But I also look at Iowa State maybe necessarily has a pretty easy road to get here, necessarily, which as they should, they're a 2 seed. And Marquette, if we kind of play it out correctly, is probably on their 3rd tough game. Yeah. Like, I mean, the 2 games that they're going to play before this they're going to be grinded out. They're not going to blow out any of those teams before, in my opinion. Yeah. So I'm going to go Iowa State here, just because of the path that Marquette's going to have to go through to get to this game. I know there's a little break of time, but that's got to factor in for me at least a little bit. So Iowa State kind of plays, their 2nd real competitive game of the tournament, and I think they beat Marquette.
Yeah, I like this Marquette team a lot. I think they match up well with Iowa State, but this is a game where I would pick Iowa State. I think Curtis Jones would be a difference here. I mean, another great matchup, 2 teams who sit down and guard. But I also am not comfortable taking a 7 seed Elite 8 personally, so I'm going to rock with Iowa State.
So Iowa State Marquette actually played in the non-con. It was really competitive. Marquette went to Iowa State, almost won. But I agree. I lean Iowa State here as well. And then I already said my piece about Auburn. I think they'll walk to the Elite Eight, and especially because A&M beat them in the regular season, I think Auburn would run over A&M in a rematch.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you one bit there.
And then I think Auburn ends up with a pretty good path to make the Final Four. I don't know what you guys think.
I agree, 100%. I like Auburn in the Final Four. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, frankly, I do this every year, and obviously, we were 1 region down, but I was filling out my first bracket today, and it's hard to see. And like I said, every year I have a lot of the 1 seeds, and I'm like, oh, it's so boring, right? 1 seed, make it all the way. But I tell you what, dude, like, I wouldn't be shocked if, and again, this isn't a crazy comment, but like these 4 1 seeds that we have here, are so good, and they're so, like, truthfully, so much better than everybody else in the country that, like, this going chalk and seeing 4-1s in the Final Four wouldn't blow my mind the slightest bit.
I will say,
Um,
I would be shocked if a non-one seed won the national championship. That's how good.
yeah,
I think that's something
absolutely.
so
I think that's a better point. Yeah, that's
and
a better point.
and look, could St. John's make the Final Four? Yeah. Could Iowa State make the Final Four? Yeah. Could
Yeah,
Oregon make the Final Four? Wisconsin? Yeah. They're not. None of those teams are winning a national championship. I'd be
right.
shocked if not a one seed didn't. But anyway, let's go to the East. We all like Duke here, obviously.
I don't know. I like how Mount St. Mary's matches up against Duke.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I think they got a few answers for Cooper Flagg. The second best prospect since LeBron. But
yeah,
look, this is where I'm gonna start fading the SEC. I'm not a fan of Mississippi State at all. They give up a high volume of threes in their defense. That's just how their defense operates. And this year, without Tolu Smith, it's really opened up. Like, he really covered up a lot of stuff last year. He's not there this year. They're really Josh Hubbard dependent. Like, Riley Kugel is a guy that's a big X factor for them to get going. But like, Baylor's really talented. Like, VJ Edgecombe is going to be a top 6 pick in the draft, and they still got Jeremy Roach and all that. So I like this is where I'm gonna fade the SEC a little bit. I like Baylor here.
I agree. And in March, typically, if you have the best player on the floor, you have a pretty good chance of victory. And you're right, VJ Edgecombe is going to be the difference there.
Yeah, I agree. And I know we're going to talk about it later, but I like that Duke Baylor matchup a lot. That could be a really good game.
That'd be fun.
That's just a preview of that. But
James, do we have another 12-5?
We don't. We don't. I like how Oregon's playing as of late. I really do. Kind of a team that, once the season started and Illinois beat them by 40, I'm like, what's going on here? But Oregon's been playing some good ball as of late, and I don't think Liberty's got it. So I like the 5 in this matchup. So give me the Ducks.
I agree. Nate Biddle is going to give Liberty some fits. Jackson Shellstad is a pretty good guard, and Bartholomew last year went nuclear in the NCAA tournament, put up some 40-point games. They have some dudes who can flat out play, and in a tournament setting, Dana Altman is very, very tough to prepare for.
Feed me Dana Altman. Yeah. Most underrated coach maybe in
It's just because he's out west. That's why.
Yeah, really.
That's why.
So, unfortunately, Mayo's not here. Mayo picked Akron to win last year. And when we send him this, he might pick them again. Akron doesn't play a guy over 6'7". Like, it is hard to compete with high major schools when you don't do that. But, James, you see an upset here?
I don't. I will say I don't see a super tall ceiling for Arizona, though. I think this is one of those games where, like, I love Oregon's path to the Sweet 16. Truthfully, Akron, obviously, Mayo, his buddy, still plays for Akron. I did have a perfect MAC bracket. Just want to point that one out. I had a perfect MAC bracket. It did go chalk. It went chalk, but that's okay. And so I like the path for Oregon because, frankly, I look at Arizona and Akron and I'm like, I don't know, because Arizona's played some inconsistent ball. Caleb Love has looked like very inconsistent at times, but then again, if he goes for 40, are you going to be shocked? So I like Arizona here. I don't think this is an upset.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm going to take Arizona. I want to give Akron their props. John Gross is one of the better mid-major programs right now. I do believe Purdue is playing Akron next year too. I don't think it's been announced yet. A little bit of
this guy's got so much inside scoop. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, fun team for sure. I mean, they like to run and get after it. This right here, I think it might be the most interesting game in the entire tournament. BYU, VCU. VCU really sits down and guards. Look, I'm going BYU. I know Tanner's going to pick VCU. BYU is a team that can make 15 threes and not even blink an eye. And they're better defensively than they have shown. And Tanner, you said it before, when you have the best player on the court, you win a lot of times. Richie Saunders is going to be the best player on the court when they play. He's an NBA player. So I lean BYU, but, man, it would not surprise me if VCU was in the second weekend.
Yeah, I like VCU simply because what BYU does is they chuck up threes. All they do is shoot threes. I love that play style. It's fun to watch. But when you play VCU, a program that for over a decade now is so reliant on full court pressure and defending in the half court and pressuring the ball, I think BYU struggles with that, which is why I like VCU. That's their DNA. So I really like VCU to beat BYU. But at the same time, if BYU gets past this game, I really, really like BYU's path to keep going.
I agree. James, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Johnny. I like teams. So it's so funny. Like, we always talk about teams that sit down and guard, but for the first weekend, we've seen some great teams come out and upset some other teams when they just shoot lights out, and that's what BYU is able to do. I'm not saying it's going to be an upset, but I think BYU can really shoot lights off out of the gym, and frankly, that's why. Yeah, they are way past the second weekend in my first bracket that I made just because of the draw, and I think BYU is going to be a program that it's going to be a tough program to beat in years to come. I mean, obviously they've got the kid coming in. I don't know his
AJ
name.
Debanza.
AJ
Yeah,
Banter.
yeah. That's what a get for them. You know, they lose their coach last year. You have a question, what's going to happen? And boy, they've answered all the questions. So I like BYU for sure.
So I think we're all going to pick Wisconsin here, but Tanner, break down your reason for concern for Wisconsin.
Yeah, very very alarming here, and I actually picked Montana in a couple of my brackets, but you guys are going Wisconsin's here, so that doesn't matter. Wisconsin just had to play 4 games in 4 days in the Big Ten tournament, correct? And now they get an early window game on Thursday in Denver, Colorado.
It's
So they're
brutal.
on short rest, 4 games in 4 days. You got to go play in elevation. Montana's been rested for over a week already. So I think this is very alarming for Wisconsin. It is tough that, like you mentioned, that first game in that elevation is very, very tough to adjust to. Montana plays in it in their conference. They're used to it. I think this is a really big upset spot that nobody really is talking about. So me personally, I like Montana, just for the sole reason of Wisconsin's going to be jet lagged. They're playing the elevation, just played 4 games in 4 days. So I mean, in terms of the matchup, Wisconsin's better, but I mean, they're going to have to run on fumes if they're going to win this game. This is very alarming for Wisconsin.
I'll tell you what, I'm picking BYU over Wisconsin when we get there. Like that is
Yeah.
100% what I'm doing.
And
Anyways,
I will say I do have. I'm not going to pick Wisconsin for our backyard, or I'm not going to pick Montana for our backyard banner. But I'm with you, T. I got a few brackets where Montana's beating Wisconsin in this first round.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyway, St. Mary's Vanderbilt. I know I was going to say I was going to fade the SEC, but I fade St. Mary's every year. And Vanderbilt's a tough matchup. They run beautiful sets. Mark Byington is their head coach. He came from James Madison, and he's really freaking good. Like he's really good. He put that program on the map. Really good guard. Play the guy, this kid named Jason Edwards, small little guard. He'll get you 16 a game. That was a guy Hogard with Marsh experience. So I like Vanderbilt in this spot.
I'm gonna disagree with you here, John. I think Vanderbilt really struggles away from home. St. Mary's, I've been blessed to watch them a couple times this year. Actually, they're a very very good team. They have a lot of dudes who can come out and get a bucket. They run really good offense, as you mentioned. I like St. Mary's to beat Vanderbilt. I just don't trust Vanderbilt away from home. AJ Hogard has been there in March, but he's not someone who's really going to come out and score 15. I think he's more get in the lane and go scoring you. And St. Mary's has some very, very good size inside. They protect the rim and they defend well. I think St. Mary's is pretty sneaky team. I think Alabama's a terrible matchup for them, but I like St. Mary's to beat Vanderbilt.
yeah, I was really hoping you two picked the same team because this is a game that I've been going back and forth in all my brackets. I look at St. Mary's and I look at a team that to me I don't know if it's because of who they're playing besides Gonzaga when they play, San Fran, Santa Clara, whatever. They always look huge. Like I don't know if St. Mary's is just this behemoth of a team, but they look like it. I mean, AJ Hogard, he's 35 years old. Like I said, he is collecting Social Security. But at the same time, I have always faded Vanderbilt because of the fact that they don't have benches on the sideline. So therefore, we're going St. Mary's. Just because of that reason, I don't even care about ball anymore.
I think we all agree Bama can take care of business.
Yeah.
All right, Duke Baylor. Do we think Duke struggles?
No.
I don't think they struggle, but I think it's a good game for I don't know
30 minutes. Yeah.
30 minutes. Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 minutes. I love Oregon here. I think Oregon's really good. I think they're that underseeded 5 teams, underseeded 5 seed that could make a run.
I agree.
I like Oregon a lot. Caleb Love for Arizona is going to have to do a lot for them to win that game because I think Oregon has 3 legit options offensively. I think Arizona's got one with maybe a couple third options, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I already said I'm picking BYU here. I think in that matchup, BYU is used to playing the elevation, like you said, Tanner, playing 4 games in 4 days, probably having a tough game against Montana, and then going to have to play against that BYU offense. Tough ask tough ask for Wisconsin. So I'll lean BYU here.
I agree. I like BYU in this matchup. I think they would just simply beat Wisconsin at the 3-point line in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
picking BYU just so we get a great game in the Sweet 16
yeah.
offensive battle. BYU versus Bama.
Yeah, and then like
First
you said,
to 125. I mean,
awful matchup for St. Mary's with
Yeah.
Bama, by the way. Do we think Duke struggles here? I think they might, but I don't think they'll lose.
no.
Duke by 20.
Yeah, Duke.
And then Grant Nelson, he's going to see a knee specialist. And if someone has hurt their knee a million times like I have, it is not good when you're going to go see a specialist. So this really concerns me. Now, they have Diabate who comes off the bench who's really good. And I honestly, their path is kind of laughable to an extent.
It's cake.
Honestly, look, I mean, if Wisconsin gets the extra rest, like maybe they could put up a little bit of a fight, but I lean Bama heavy here.
Yeah, there's one seeds that have way tougher paths than Bama.
Florida.
I mean, yeah, Florida, Houston, they have way tougher paths than what Alabama has. So
I like Bama a lot as well in that spot.
Yeah, and then Duke. This is a tough matchup for Bama with Duke. I mean, Duke can guard you, and they score at a really hard level. Like Duke and Florida are very similar. Like they're some of the only teams that are top 10 in Ken Pom in both offensive and defensive efficiency. And teams like that really bother Bama. There's a reason why Florida's won 4 straight against Bama. So I like Duke here.
Duke. I mean, I'm not picking against Duke. I don't care who they play. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to the West, my beloved Florida Gators. I will say, I watched the whole film breakdown on Norfolk State today. Sneaky good. They're a good 16. When you think of a 16, you think of,
they're all good.
So like Norfolk State has, they go 3 guys over 6'9". They got 2 6'11". So, there's a reason they're kind of always in the tournament. But obviously, Florida's the best team in the country right now. So, but I'm saying, don't be surprised if you're at halftime and Florida's only up 6 before pulling away in the second half.
Yeah.
But this is such a weird game, UConn, Oklahoma. Neither team guards, and everyone just kind of looks to score. I'll lean UConn because if you take away fears for Oklahoma, you really could take them away. But I don't know if UConn has anyone to take away fears. They really struggle guarding. So I'll lean UConn, though.
I'll take UConn. I think Dan Hurley having a couple days to prepare, and like you said, I think he's going to find a way to take fears completely out of the game. I think UConn has a couple more dudes, too. Just a little bit more depth. I like UConn in this matchup.
Yep.
And I'm taking Colorado State here. Tyrese Hunter is I'm pretty sure he's out for Memphis. And look, shout out Penny Hardaway. He's scheduled a really tough non-conference. That's why they got this 5th seed, but Memphis is not a 5th seed. They're more of a 7th seed. Colorado State's won 11 in a row. And I know we fade them out in West, but this is a matchup that's really advantageous for Colorado State, I think. So I'll go Colorado State. And mostly because, again, I'll pick this upset because in my bracket, I have Maryland going to the Sweet 16 anyway. So, again, if you miss one, it's not gonna kill you. But I like Colorado State.
Yeah, I like Colorado State as well. I agree with you on everything you said. I just wanted to point out they have someone who played in the national championship game last year.
Did he play? Did he play?
He did play. Ethan Morton, March experience for Colorado State. He's been going off recently. He had 4 points in the Mountain West championship game.
Attaboy. The guy goes from Big Ten national championship to seeing the same level of tick in the Mountain West. So that's crazy.
And then this is sneaky for Maryland. Grand Canyon's a good team. Grand Canyon is a good team, and Maryland only plays 6 players. You guys know this being in the watching the Big Ten, but I lean Maryland here. I think they're a little bit too good in the front court.
Yeah, Grand Canyon lost their big from last year, and I've watched them play this year. Their big is 6'6", 6'7". He's an undersized, low post guy. Derek Queen is going to feast on him. I love Maryland. I think Maryland's very good.
Watching what Maryland did to Illinois, I can't fade Maryland.
Maryland can beat Florida. Maryland is good.
They could. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna pick Drake. I'm not picking Drake. I think Missouri is a nightmare matchup for Drake. I've watched a lot of Missouri. They go 11 deep. They got 4 guys that they roll at the forward position. Mark Mitchell is a problem. He didn't play really in that SEC tournament. So Caleb Girl is just a stud, man. Talk about 6-man coming off the bench, 6-man of the year of the SEC. Give me Missouri.
I agree. I'm going to take Missouri. This is a nightmare matchup for Drake. What a good story. Coach McCollum, 30 wins first year at D1. They got 4 Division II players in their starting lineup. If they play any other 6 seed, I'm taking Drake, not Missouri. Missouri is, they just play way too fast.
It's a brutal matchup for them.
Yeah.
I kind of feel it's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
And he's going to be one and done at Drake. I mean, he's probably going to be in your beloved state, Tanner. I mean, he's looking like he's going to be a future Hoosier. Good
Well,
Lord.
that's where careers go to die. So hopefully, for his sake, he doesn't take that.
Fair enough.
Anyway, and Texas Tech here, we'll go kind of chalk there, and we'll sneak down to St. John's, Omaha. No trash cans will get beat up after this one. James, what does St. John's do, man?
They guard.
They guard. You know, I don't love what he did at Louisville. You know, obviously, no one loves when you kind of hire people to come and press the recruits. But
good for him. Good for him.
Gritty. Everyone was doing it. Just follow along.
Exactly.
And anyway, this is their own pod right here. 3 Hall of Fame coaches and a coach that beats up a trash can. Like what a quad right here. Are we taking Cal or Bill Self here, James?
I mean, I'm fading Kansas. I've been saying it for months now. I hate this Kansas team. I'm kind of excited that they're not as dominant as they've been in years past. I thought they had an easy road to the Big 12, and they just proved that they stink. So I like Arkansas here. I really do.
What about you two?
I think Kansas' inability to guard the pick and roll and their problems with spacing on the offensive end of the floor, I don't really like them against many teams right now. Arkansas, and in this case, the pick and pop with Big Z. Arkansas has a couple dudes, some athletic freaks. If Kansas had if they had 2 copycats of KJ Adams, maybe I would take Kansas.
Well, they have one.
They have one.
So I'm going to take Arkansas. I think Kansas is going to struggle to defend and guard Arkansas. So
I will say I'm going to take Kansas. They're too talented to lose this game, and Adu Thiara is out for Arkansas. He's, I think, their best player. So that's one to look out for. Will Florida have any problems against UConn?
No.
I agree. Florida is too complete. It scares me a little bit, but then I listen to the Florida podcast. It's like the only reason why it scares you is because they're back-to-back national champions. UConn is not good this year. And Florida has crushed teams that are 8, 9 seeds all year.
I also think, Johnny, I can't relate to this in the basketball sense, but Tanner can. When your team's the 1 seed, you're scared of everyone. Yeah. Because you have such that you're expected to basically be in the national championship or the Final Four. And so when an 8 seed UConn rolls around, it's like, that sucks. Yeah. Right? And it is scary.
Better than playing Gonzaga.
Much better than playing Gonzaga. Yep.
Anyway, we all like Maryland there.
Yep.
I am taking Missouri.
What a good game this could be. I mean,
I am all in on Missouri. Look, JT Toppin is going to be a first-team All-American, as he should be, or at least second team. Like, he's going to be consistent All-American. Mark Mitchell matches up better with JT Toppin than I think anyone in the entire country outside of Cooper Flag. So I am all in on Missouri winning this game. Now, if Texas Tech goes through this game, I think they make the Elite Eight. But
if you guys roll with Missouri, that's cool. I'm okay with it because I also kind of like Missouri. But I think Texas Tech, their guard play is slightly better than Missouri. So I would take Texas Tech, but I don't hate Missouri in this.
James, comes down to you.
I said it last year. I said the country deserves Purdue, UConn. The country deserves this round of 32 game. Yeah. I mean, frankly, I'll say it now. In my opinion, whoever wins this game is going to play Florida. I mean, like that's my prediction. I'm going Mizzou, but I'm sorry, Tanner. Like, the Texas Tech pick is a good pick because I don't know. But again, like I said, I watched a documentary about Mizzou. I'm riding with the Tigers. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, look, and Tamron Bates, another guy from Missouri. He's been there forever. He's a fifth-year guy. Just puts in the bucket. And I don't know. Like, again, I really like Texas Tech. If Texas Tech was in a different bracket, like, I would take them to the Final Four. That's how much.
You know what? No, sorry. Backyard Banter's going with Tech. They are.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They're going to beat St. John's, so therefore I have to go with Texas Tech.
And then St. John's will run over Arkansas. Yeah. Cal versus Patino, by the way, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Look, Maryland's one of the few teams that can match up with Florida. Like Colin Gillespie's a really good guard, right? And they got the 2. They got Reese and Quinn in the front court, really good. When you only play 6 guys, you're not going to be able to compete with Florida through a 40-minute game, much less in a Sweet 16 game after having to play 2 tough games before that. So Florida's depth wins this one.
I agree. Give me the Gators.
Yep.
Right over left.
Right over left.
Oh, gosh. We're rolling.
Locked in. And then we'll take Tech here, I guess. Even though, look, I really love St. John's. And They're Final Four good. Like they are Final RJ Luis, Richmond, two guys that are really good. I mean, they got three different guys that could win you a game.
Yeah, I agree here. I like Texas Tech. I think they match up well with St. John's. St. John's is they're a great basketball team. I love watching them play. They are unbelievable.
Yeah.
But what's that stat again? 1 and 2 seeds that started the year unranked, they don't make it past Sweet 16. I mean,
Yep.
I saw firsthand 2 years ago with my
Yeah.
Boilermakers. So I'm a believer in that.
Fair enough.
And then if I'm Florida, I love this matchup. I would much rather play Texas Tech than St. John's. I think there are only like 4 teams in the country that could even compete and beat Florida, and Texas Tech is not one of them.
Yep.
Could it be close? Yeah, but I think Florida wins fairly comfortably here if this is a matchup.
Absolutely.
I love Florida's path to Final Four personally.
Yeah, Maryland scares me. Maryland matches up well with Florida, but I don't know if they have the depth to go. So
Florida's so good. Florida's so good, dude.
They're a joy to watch. I've really appreciated this season, and I haven't gushed on Florida a lot this year. The best thing about Florida is they truly do not care who gets the credit. When I don't know if you guys watched Trevor Best Station for the SEC tournament, but they said the SEC tournament they're announcing tournament teams, and both Clayton and Richard were on it, and Reese Davis misspoke and he said the SEC MVP is Will Richard, and everyone was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, oh, I misspoke, I meant Walter Clayton. But it's that's one of the things. It's you're not surprised if someone other than Walter Clayton is going to be a first team All-American won the SEC tournament MVP. It's just they're deep, they're complete, well coached. I mean, they got a little bit of everything. The one thing that concerns me with Florida, they go on defensive lulls. They're top 10 defense for a reason, but man, there's a lot of times throughout the game where they go 5 minutes and they guard atrociously. And if you do that against the wrong matchup in March, it could really. Now they normally lock back in, and once they got Micah Handline back, man, they just roll through. All 4 of the guys on their bench could start at 80% of the teams in the country. It's incredible. But anyway, we'll move on. I'll stop talking about Florida. I don't think SIUE. Shout out SIU. James Ryan Nedved, I'm pretty sure went to SIUE.
I mean, then maybe I go them. No. Okay, I'll go Cougars here. That's fine.
Yeah. And then Mike White at Georgia has never lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Fun fact. He will this year. But
I was gonna say.
Going into it, he's never lost the first round of an NCAA tournament. I only know.
In what world is Gonzaga? This is bull. I'm sorry.
Gonzaga,
so
so there's a group of teams that fit the criteria to win a national championship. It's Florida, Auburn, Houston, Duke, Iowa State, and Gonzaga.
Yeah.
It is whatever. Tanner, you agree?
Yeah, I have no problems with that.
Do you think Clemson has a problem with McNeese?
No.
Neither do I. Back-to-back years, just brutal matchups for McNeese, who's a really good team. But last year, Gonzaga was a brutal matchup for them. I think Clemson is one of their worst matchups that they could have gotten from a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
And then I texted this to Tanner last night. This Purdue team is not like the others that lost to North Texas, St. Peter's. I would be surprised if this Purdue team got upset by High Point. They're going to have the best 2 players on the court, so I like Purdue here.
Yeah, me personally, I was going to pick High Point.
You do this every year.
For the last 2 weeks, I've said I don't want to play High Point, and then I saw their name on the screen. I was initially mad. After researching High Point a little bit, I feel pretty comfortable. I'm still going to pick High Point. I will say if Purdue wins this game, this is the perfect draw for Purdue if they beat High Point. Couldn't be more perfect.
Yep. Yeah, the Boilers, man. They're rolling. Get them rolling.
If we didn't pick the other playing team here, one of the players is going to win. So since we didn't pick them here, I'll go Illinois. Illinois, in one of my brackets, I have them in the Elite 8. I'm in 2 money brackets. One of them I have them in the Elite 8. Another one I have them losing in the first round. So that just kind of shows you how sporadic Illinois is.
Yeah, I really like Illinois, regardless who they play. I'm not too fond of Illinois, but I like this region for them because I don't like any teams in this region. So I'm honestly not shocked if anybody comes out of it. I agree. I think this is the playing game, the playing team that will lose. I think to lose to Illinois. So much talent on this Illinois team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanner, you said that Wisconsin is the 3 you think might lose early. I think Troy could beat Kentucky. I truly believe that. I think we're gonna go with Kentucky, but Kentucky's banged up. Even though Kobe Bryant has the most beautiful jump shot I've ever seen in my entire life,
Yeah.
it is so pure. but I lean Kentucky there barely. And then fade the Mountain West, baby.
And the Big Ten in the last, I think, 8 tournaments in 7-10 games, the Big Ten is like 17-1.
Yeah, there
Wow.
you go. And
Well,
then
we like stats on Back Your Banner, so
yeah,
there we go.
don't see Tennessee losing. The one seed that could lose before the Sweet 16 is Houston. And this Gonzaga team is really good. I don't think I'm going to rip it because Houston is so good defensively, and they're so hard to get upset. But, man, if I'm Houston, I am pissed that this is my 8 seed.
Totally agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Gonzaga here. I want to lean into James. I just want to see what James is gonna pick here. I'm gonna take Gonzaga. I think Houston. I have them in my Final Four, but just for the electricity of this, I'm gonna take Gonzaga, making 1-1.
I mean, you know where I'm going because I've been going Houston all season long, so I'm
There you
not
go.
changing it.
Yeah.
I'm not changing it, but it's bowl. Like it is bowl that this is the draw. I feel like every year Houston just gets shafted and they're never respected.
For example, Gonzaga is better than Memphis, and Memphis is a 5, Gonzaga is an 8. Just to kind of put in perspective a little bit.
Yep.
Tanner, I think I like Clemson here against Purdue. I know you said you like Purdue if they get past High Point, but Clemson has one of the best starting 5s in the country. And after watching Purdue all year, unless this is like a Fletcher Lawyer 7 3-pointer game, like I think
those are so never going to happen ever again. I mean,
I think Clemson is a team that could take away Smith and Kaufman run a little bit.
Yeah, in this matchup, again, I have High Point winning, but I think what I like
no,
about
you don't, bro.
I think what I like about Purdue is Clemson played in the ACC,
Yep.
and Purdue played in a tough Big Ten, a deep Big Ten. Purdue played one of the toughest non-cons in the country. I just think Purdue's played people. I think Purdue's seen everything they could have seen this year outside of maybe Duke. Like Purdue played Auburn, they played A&M. They played so many different types of teams that I think Clemson is the type of play that would hurt Purdue, but I don't think. I mean, I don't think Clemson's battle tested. I think Purdue's battle tested. Purdue's also seen both. A lot of players in this team have seen both sides of March. They've seen the dark side. They've seen the bright side, and that's what I like. They've seen both sides of it.
Yeah. I'm not going to be the guy that kicks Purdue out of this tournament. I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. I mean, the thing about Purdue is, and I've watched way too much Purdue basketball this season, and frankly, in the last 3 years of my life. But they're good. They've got what Kaufman-Rent's done this year blew my expectations out of the water for Purdue. I mean, absolutely. Frankly, Tanner might say he did, but I don't know if Purdue fans expected to get what they got out of him. He was so good this season.
18 a game.
I mean, he was so good this year for them. And so I'm not going to kick them out of this tournament yet. So,
James, how healthy is Illinois? Are they the healthiest they're going to be all year coming into this?
I mean, as of right now, I think they're completely healthy.
Illinois,
and I don't think for my concern with Illinois, it doesn't come down to health. I mean, when we were going through, when I say I say we because that's what we do with our teams, but Illinois kind of went through their lull when they were getting banged up. Ivisic got mono. All these guys were going out. Merez Johnson broke his wrist. Because again, mono spread in the United States like Ebola did. It was the most sporadic disease ever, apparently. But yeah, no, I think Illinois is healthy. I mean, they get Merez back. He's been a great freshman for them. My concern with Illinois, with every single game they've played all season long, is they are so young. And when you're young in March, are the lights too bright? That's the question. I don't like this Kentucky team. I couldn't have found a better 3 seed to be matched up against. So I'm going to pick Illinois here. But again, if Kentucky comes out and just dominates Illinois, I'm not shocked either. That's the unfortunate thing about this Illinois team this year. But I'm going to pick the Illini.
Yeah, I'm going to take Illinois as well. I'm not very high on Kentucky. I don't think they lose to Troy. But in this matchup, I think Illinois matches up with them talent-wise too. And I think both teams play a similar style of play. I can see if Illinois gets hot from 3, because that's one thing they don't do very well. But when they shoot it, they're tough to beat. And I just think they're going to get so many possessions in this game with the way both teams play that they're going to end up knocking some shots down and beating Kentucky. They're healthier than Kentucky. I like Illinois. I like the Big Ten.
Yep.
Do you like the Big Ten over Tennessee here?
I kind of do, but I just think Tennessee's more physical. I think that Rick Barnes is going to find a way to get to the second weekend. I'm not going to fade Tennessee yet.
Yeah.
This quadrant is the sorriest quadrant in the entire tournament, right here.
I agree.
This here down. I mean, it's ridiculous, honestly. I was looking forward to fading Tennessee. If they got Kansas as their 7, I was fading Tennessee. I don't love UCLA. Shout out Eric Daly. I played against him in a few camps. He's actually from the Tampa Bay area. He's actually the one that started my knee problems. Fun fact. By accident, I went over to take a charge on him, and he went knee to knee with me going in my freshman year of high school. Good kid.
Should we fade him? I mean,
no, he's a super nice kid. Super nice. Right. Went to IMG, was a stud there. Went to Oklahoma State. Now he's at UCLA. But just wanted to Sky Clark too. Sky Clark versus Zakai Ziegler. That's fun. But I agree with Tanner. I mean,
Sky Clark is stinky.
He's Illinois legend, Sky Clark. But okay, we'll move on. Tanner, you think Purdue could beat Houston?
No. I think the only reason that would happen is because this game would be played in Lucas Oil Stadium, the Colts Stadium, an hour
from Purdue crazy campus. That a regional is being played.
And when I saw Purdue in the Midwest, my eyes lit up because you talk.
It's because we live in Purdue's world. It's Purdue's world. We're just living in it.
I mean, you talk about 80,000. I don't know how many it fits for basketball. 80,000 Purdue fans in Lucas Oil Stadium, but no, I don't think we beat Houston. I will say, I like Purdue playing Houston than any other 1 seed. They're the worst offensive 1 seed. And that's better for Purdue, but and they put in a half court. So, but no, I don't think Purdue beats Houston.
Yeah.
So could Illinois beat Tennessee? I think they could.
No,
I don't think they will, but they could.
They lost at home because they let a guy go 95 feet in 2.2 seconds, and I don't even think the court's 95 feet.
94 feet.
Exactly. So yeah, no, they can't beat Tennessee. I tell you what, I can't. For the whole season, I'm like, Chaz Lanier, he's not that good. He's just playing well. I'm wrong. I mean, that guy's been hooping all season long. I mean, what a stud.
He's an NBA player, but
yeah, he's a stud.
He can't create his own shot, though.
No.
And then Tennessee is a worse version of Houston.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I hate that we have all 1s in the Final Four, and I think if there's going to be a non-1 to come out of the Final Four, it's either going to be the West or the Midwest, if I'm being honest. And I think Clemson could be that team that can make the Final Four. Sneaky. I think it would require a Gonzaga win over Houston, but we've seen crazier things. So Auburn, Florida. Who do you guys got?
What a game!
Yeah,
Florida. I like Florida's guard play.
Yeah,
I was gonna pick Florida to beat Houston in this backyard banner one, so I've got to go with Florida. Yeah, we're going right over left. They're in the national championship, Johnny.
I think Auburn can win this game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I really do. Florida got them in the regular season. Florida matched up pretty well with Auburn. There's just something about that rematch that I don't love.
Yeah.
But anyway, Duke or Houston here?
Duke.
Houston.
I'll go Duke too. Tough matchup for Houston. I don't think they're going to be able to score enough because Duke can guard just as well as they can. And then I think these are the best 2 teams in the country. I think kind of similar to last year that if Florida had a little bit easier of a region, I could say that they're on a collision course. And if this did happen, I'd be freaking out. I would have to go to the game. I'd have to find a way to be there. But Florida is the one team that matches up with Duke in the front court. And now with Malik Brown that is hurt, that takes a rotation guy away from Duke. And the freshman big that they have honestly can't hold the jock of any of Florida's 4 bigs.
No.
And look, I'm still going to pick Duke because I think Duke is too talented with Cooper Flagg. And their guard play isn't as good as Florida's, but look, when you can put 6'5", they start 2 guards that are 6'5", and Conkinipple who's 6'7", like that's some legit length. So I'll lean Duke here, but look, Florida's really good, and it has just been a joy to watch them this year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Duke too. I think Conkinipple is gonna be my most outstanding player to Final Four. Mason Gillis finally gets a ring.
There you go.
No, Johnny, I obviously Duke is back here at Banner's national championship selection. Very, very bold. We are a bold podcast. But no, dude, like Johnny, your team's the best team in the country. Like in my opinion, I think Florida is unbelievable. And year after year, I give Tanner all the crap for Purdue, and last year I was giving you crap for Florida, and this year there's no crap to be given. Like Florida is so good. Everyone's saying it. They're the most complete team in the country, and it's because they are. I think Florida does beat Duke in this, but I'm not upset that. I mean, hey, if the country gets this national championship, then we're cool.
Yeah. What's the final score? How many
83
points?
77.
Okay, how many points? I haven't been in school in the last 9 months. So
I think 157. That's my pick.
That's low.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
I'm overruling you. 168.
Well, it's a big game there. It's a big game.
But nah, that's fine. I like that.
What is that?
All right.
What is that? 86, 82? All right. That's all right.
Yeah. So I'll fill all this out.
Yeah, give us your information.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll fill that all out off camera, and I will create a bracket group for everyone like we did last year. I don't know what the winner would get. Maybe something fun, but yeah. Anyway,
I think last year we said the person that wins will give them a little segment on the pod.
Well, we won.
So we won. I mean,
yeah. So we'll send it out to our family. Tanner James put it in the family group chat because I don't know how many people will join from this. Probably not many, but it's still fun to do. Hopefully, if anyone watched to the end, that you guys learn something. Maybe I don't know, because my brackets the last 2 years have been like historically bad. So I'm not.
It's so hard because and I don't know who I was listening to, but. And I don't remember, what his reasonings were, but he says he makes 3 brackets based off the 3 H's. I don't remember who said it or frankly what the 3 were, but one of them was heart. And one of the H's, he says he makes a bracket based off heart. And those are all my brackets, like literally all of them. I'm like, yeah, McNeese, yeah, they're going to beat him because they got a cool manager. And I was a manager. They got a cool manager and I was a manager. Therefore, they're going to win.
James,
but then
you're way better than their manager.
No, that guy's he's so drippy. I mean, that guy. That's a wannabe. I mean, I wish I could be him.
But anyway, we'll wrap it there. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Yeah.